This program is brought to you by TAB. Long may we play.
Hello, I'm Caroline CSC. Welcome to Thoroughbreds Are Go with another packed show coming up for you this week. The winner and runner-up in the Thoroughbred Care and Welfare Award at the prestigious 2022 Australian Stud and Stable Staff Awards. The Victoria Racing Club supports some of Australia's best eventers by bringing the Melbourne Cup to the Sydney International 3-day event, and you won't believe the numbers of thoroughbreds competing. And another boost for those taking on the breed for competition. The Sydney Royal Easter Show dedicates a whole day of classes to the thoroughbred. Plus more love for the racehorse as they move away from the racetrack in Arrowfield Studs Strapper Stories. All that coming up this week on Thoroughbreds Are Go. This segment brought to you by Inglis. The Great Southern Weanling and Broodmare Sale, June 9 and 10 in Melbourne. The 2022 Australian Stud and Stable Staff Awards on the Gold Coast was another emotional night as the racing and breeding industry's workforce was celebrated with some incredible winners on the night.
The winner is Reg Fleming.
The Dedication to Racing Award winner and the overall Thoroughbred Excellence Award winner was Reg Fleming, the long-time foreman for the legendary trainer Bart Cummings, and now working with Bart's grandson James, the head trainer for Australia's Godolphin Stables. The Leadership Award winner was Liesl Bowman from Crestfield Stud. The Horsemanship Award went to Arrowfield Stud's Adam Shankly. Arrowfield staff scooped up another award with the popular Jess Hood taking out the Administration Prize. Dedication to Breeding winner was Kelly Frost of Godolphin's Victorian Northwood Farm, while the Newcomer Award went to Sasha Roberts of Mick Kent Racing in Victoria. The Thoroughbred Care and Welfare Award went to Fiona McIntyre, who featured on Thoroughbreds Are Go earlier this series. The runner-up was Grace Chandler, who rehomes horses on the Victorian South Australian border, both finalists also working in full-time jobs.
It's a huge honour to win this award. It's a national award, so it means it's second to none. It's sort of the highest award there is out there, and to be recognised for the work that we do in this space is just huge.
The thing that sets you apart is that you actually are really promoting the thoroughbred. It's not about, it is about the rehoming too, but you're actually passionately telling the equestrian world why they're so good.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the thing. I'm not out there selling myself or something that I do, it's the horse. Those horses are incredibly talented, they're amazing, and I really honestly believe they're second to none as far as versatility as a breed goes, and I'll sing their praises as long as I can.
The likes of Fiona tonight, she's a deserved winner and she said exactly what I wanted to say, so it's really nice to see someone like her get up, and she definitely deserves the award. I'm what you call a one-man operation. I am the sole rider, feeder, I do everything. So I'm very lucky I have the help from family and friends. My partner, he didn't know one end of a horse from the other when I met him, and now he's a farrier and he helps out a lot around the place. And my dad, he's exceptional, and even my partner's family there. And I have a lot of friends that help me in every aspect. They may not be staff, but they help me out in every way you can expect. So yeah, I'm very lucky in that sense. Like I say to everyone, the thoroughbred is the only horse you'll see in every discipline. You'll find a thoroughbred that can do every single discipline. I don't think you can tell me any other horse that you've seen do anything from racing to barrel racing, show jumping, eventing. You'll always see a thoroughbred doing a lot of it. So yeah, and Quietdale is a perfect example. He's gone from, he was never a magnificent racehorse, but he had 13 race starts. He's turned around and become a clerk of the course. He's show jumped, he's evented, he's, you name it, he's done it. So, and I don't think that's the end of what he's going to do. We'll see more of him. Oh, you want the easy route into a horse? I definitely suggest a thoroughbred. They're the most trainable, athletic horse you will come across. They're just the fastest learners you'll come across. If you want to retrain a horse yourself from scratch, you've got the thoroughbreds that are ready to go. They've been experienced, they're exposed to so many different avenues in life that, yeah, they're just already ready to go. You can't go wrong.
People are out there that are sort of stepping up and that they can see what these horses can do, so they're taking them on, and some of these people that are out there competing have switched across from their warm bloods or their other purpose-bred horses and getting their thoroughbreds and really, really going for it, and it's fantastic to see.
It was truly a great night, and I thoroughly enjoyed hosting it alongside industry leaders, all united in the celebration of our great thoroughbred workforce. The Victoria Racing Club is home to the one race that reaches beyond the racing and breeding industry, the Melbourne Cup. And this year the Cup was in attendance as the VRC sponsored the Sydney International 3-day event with classes packed with thoroughbreds.
So we're here at Sydney 3-day event. It's a World Championship qualifying event in the 4-star, and yeah, we're at the final day of the competition. The dressage on Friday, cross country yesterday, and today's the show jumping phase. And yeah, we've been blessed with beautiful weather. Sydney's been pretty ordinary lately, but beautiful weather, and it's been a great weekend. I've been really pleased with my guys. I was fortunate enough to win both the 4-star classes, and yeah, I've come third in the 3-star long on my little horse Matrix. So yeah, really pleased with the whole team. He's an amazing horse. He's probably the nicest horse I've ever trained. He and he's not probably the most talented, but he's just the most willing horse. Anything you ask him, even if he's got no idea, he says, well, I'll have a go. And he's a great learner. He's come a long way in a short space of time, and I've got really high hopes of him moving forward as well.
Third place, Shane Rose, riding Matrix on a score of 42.
He actually raced his biaxle pretty poorly, to be fair. But he's by a really nice stallion, Teofilo, who was by Galileo. For our sport, great. You know, the fact that they can get over a bit of distance and things like that is a really added bonus. I mean, any thoroughbred can gallop well, but if they can go over a bit of ground, it's great for us. And we picked him up, and he's taken to a eventing great. Really pleased with the future, and he's only a 7-year-old, which for our sport's very young. We can only start competing them at 5-year-old, so touch wood, that all goes to plan, and yeah, as I say, he's a little ripper. I love him.
For thoroughbreds are my life. Like, I own a farm called Limitless Lodge, so I'm daily, we've got 200 horses spread across 3 farms and a great team of staff working them, spelling them, breaking them in. We've had some famous horses come through the farm, and we work for some terrific trainers and owners, so it's my life. There are so many owners now who are really committed to giving these horses a life after racing. Whether they're slow, whether they're fast, they're really eager to find a home for them, and there's so much opportunity for them. Not just eventing, but plenty of other things. 20 years ago, that's all we had. There was none of these warm bloods. And then there was a while where everyone was experimenting with what was the right warm blood, but always to mix with a thoroughbred. Now we're happy to ride straight thoroughbreds again, because the sport's about speed and endurance. What do thoroughbreds have? Speed and endurance. So yeah, we want thoroughbreds. I try plenty.
I think it's amazing to have the Melbourne Cup here. These horses, some of them have raced before, and I just think maybe one day one of these horses will have won the Melbourne Cup. So I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, so I look after a horse called Venga Mask. He was a French import that was trained by Mike Moroney down at Flemington, and he ran in the 2018 Melbourne Cup. He's now been retrained as an eventer, so he's running around 80 centimetre tracks at the moment. It's his first season out, so His owner's really looking forward to sort of taking him up the levels and hoping that he's got enormous talent for the sport. So she's hoping to have a bit of success with him over the next few years. Racehorses are very unique in that their racing careers really do set them up for the atmospheres that they experience here with loudspeakers and crowds, so they do handle competitions very well usually.
Cage is actually one of Nicky's and Shane's, so I've had the pleasure to ride him for the past 4 years now. And yeah, he's been great to me. His name's Cage Fighter and he is a fighter. He just one of those guys that bites down on the mouth guard and just gets the job done, and that real thoroughbred ticker about him. They're not human obviously, but they're there to help you out. If you don't give up and create that partnership and bond with a thoroughbred, they'll always be there for you.
Thoroughbreds have always been the backbone of eventing. The fact that they're accessible, they're so good to train, they want to do the sport for us, but like good racehorses, they want to win. If you make a mistake as a rider, they're always trying to help you out. So they've always been there, and I think the sport went away from thoroughbreds for a while when the purpose-bred warm bloods came into fashion, but I think there's definitely a trend coming back toward the thoroughbred. If you can find a good one, they're better than any horse in the world. Because they're athletes and they race so much, it's hard to find those great ones. But there's plenty out there to choose from, and we try a lot to go through some retired thoroughbreds, whether they've been successful or not, and retrain them. And if they don't quite make the grade, then they're great for young people. If they've got a good attitude, they're really good for young people just learning, or wives that just want to ride, or husbands that just want to ride for fun. They're a great animal. They're great natured, and like I said, they're just willing to win and train and perform for you. So it's really rewarding, and I love them.
Brilliant to hear from some of Australia's most successful eventers and thoroughbred lovers, and thanks to the VRC's Kelly Price and cameraman Scott Richardson for that story. Coming up on Thoroughbreds Are Go, the prestigious Sydney Royal Easter Show dedicates a full day of classes encouraging the take-up of thoroughbreds in the show ring. This segment brought to you by Kingstar Farm. Time to Reign's first foals arriving in 2022. The Sydney Royal Easter Show has a rich tradition but continues to move with the times in putting on a full day for thoroughbred classes at this year's show. The classes received record entries, and it narrows the gap between the equestrian world and the racing and breeding industry. John, well, we've been greeted by some fantastic conditions out here on Good Friday. Of course, you've condensed the thoroughbred classes, or a lot of them, onto the Good Friday day of competition, and it's just been glorious, some of the scenes at the Sydney Showgrounds.
Carolyn, it has been. I mean, we've been delighted with the growth in the thoroughbred section, particularly over the last 6 years. Putting it on Good Friday, a quieter day for racing, enables us to really get the wonderful judges we've had over the last few years to judge our thoroughbred classes. And today, the perfect weather that we've had, the sunlight on that particular part of the arena onto the horses as they were being judged was just really spectacular.
And the entries, as you said, I mean, how have you seen the growth of it in the last few years? There's so much being talked about trying to encourage, the equestrian world to take on our thoroughbreds. Are you really seeing sort of those numbers increasing and the real interest sort of, kind of being re-engaged for thoroughbreds?
Caroline, no question there at all. A massive increase in interest in the thoroughbred classes at the show here. 10 years ago, I can remember sitting at meetings, figuring out what can we do to the Crane and the Pope, and what a shame it was at the lack of entries we were getting in both of them. Some of it was about the time we were scheduling the particular classes, but it's really certainly the last 6 years since the interest in the rehoming of thoroughbreds and all of the work that's being done in that sphere has absolutely caused just a massive increase in our numbers. And I mean, today at the start of the Pope Cup, nearly 50 horses out there on the arena. That's spectacular in anyone's money. Absolute wonderful horses out there, and really makes us proud to be a part of organising that.
Mervyn Bennett, Australia.
And of course you yourself, I mean, you have a great connection with thoroughbreds through your father, of course, Merv Bennett. You yourself, you have thoroughbreds yourself. Tell us a little bit about your love for the thoroughbred and how, where it stemmed from.
Dad competed in the Olympics for Australia in the equestrian back in 1976. He always rode off the track thoroughbreds in the Olympics, wouldn't ride any other sort of horse whatsoever. That's what we always had. And before he started his Olympic career, he had a training licence, and after he retired from his competition career, he signed up for the training licence, and he's been training again now for about the last 15 or 18 years, and just this year I was given my trainer's licence and have gone co-trainer with Dad. So we've had a ball together. We love our thoroughbreds. We breed a few at home, and of course, as many would know, nothing greater than watching your own brand go past the winning post at a race.
And even with your father's great Olympic history, I guess some people, they don't necessarily follow in their the footsteps of what their father has done as far as loving whatever breed of horse it is. But what is it to you that makes the thoroughbred so special?
They're such an intelligent horse, and only just a moment ago I was sent a video, and it's just funny how things work, a video on Facebook Messenger of a horse of ours that he was a great horse. He won every second starts for 10 starts, so won 5 times over 10 starts. We had such fun with him. He was bought from us to do show jumping with a pony club girl. He's now gone to his next home after that. The greatest thing about that horse was his intelligence. He used to know whether we were going to the races or track work based on what clothes we would turn up to the stables in of a morning. The intelligence of the thoroughbred is absolutely not to be underestimated. That's what Dad always loved about them, and absolutely what I notice as well. I love working with them. I love being with them, and I love their temperament and absolutely their intelligence.
The temperament is such a big thing, isn't it? I mean, these horses are primped and preened to within an inch of their existence, really, and they tolerate it, they cope with it, and they really seem to enjoy it. I mean, some of them really, really look to be loving strutting their stuff out there on the showgrounds.
They do. You can absolutely see that, and you're right. They're fed within an inch of their life to be in show horse condition, and that comes with its challenges, as we all know. A well-fed horse and plenty of oats and plenty of feed can often be a handful. But it was a great spot on the arena today. It was the quieter spot at the end of the arena underneath the big screen, and the horses just really thrived in those conditions. And I think we saw some absolutely lovely workouts in the end of the Pope Cup. And just how well behaved. And of course, many horses haven't had the opportunity to be out to many shows in the lead up for the Royal here. A lot of our coastal shows, of course, have been cancelled because of the rain. So we were anticipating a few fresh horses, but gee, they performed well.
James, well, what a great experience your first year as the ringmaster at the Royal Easter Show. But you do have a real interest in thoroughbreds, and you've been involved in racing and breeding your own for some time.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been involved racing and breeding now for about 10 years. I've got a stable down in Canberra with trainer Doug Gorrell, where we race our own thoroughbreds. We do a bit of syndication and a few partnerships. And I've got a close association with Kringle Stud in Wagga, where I've bred a few with Prized Icon, which we're super excited about what we're seeing there.
And it's a really interesting sort of transition, isn't it? For a lot of people in the equestrian world that may not have dealt with thoroughbreds in the racing industry, whether working with trainers or working in the breeding industry, that these equestrian people are really now learning, what a great breed the thoroughbred is.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the real proof in that is just the sheer numbers that we've seen this year. I think some of our sort of more prestige thoroughbred classes, some of the gelding classes, the Pope, we'd have double the competitors this year that we had last year. And I think people are really starting to see how intelligent and how versatile the thoroughbred is. And that's why we're seeing those numbers increase dramatically. And for us, it's really, where do we take it next? I think there's a huge commitment within the horse committee here around thoroughbreds, and it's certainly something that we want to promote. We want to see the classes that we have happening today continue to grow and look at other classes we can introduce.
So just explain the role of ringmaster. I mean, you're very much, I guess, watching how the horses are behaving. So you really would see, you know, these thoroughbreds, as you say, they're sharp as a tack. They know exactly what's happening.
The role of the ringmaster, you know, really is to ensure the smooth running of all our horse competitions. And so part of my day is sitting in my office and watching the rings. And certainly you're absolutely correct with thoroughbreds, that watching closely around how the horses, you know, are moving. You're also looking for any signs of distress, any signs of injury if a horse is lame, if there's going to be any issues with any of the competitors. And I think what we are seeing is the thoroughbreds are so well handled before coming here that even coming to a huge arena like Sydney, and Sydney can be really intimidating for a lot of horses, a big stadium, lots of people, lots of noise. But the thoroughbreds come here and they handle it really well, and they handle it actually better than a lot of other breeds.
And the point is, you know, a lot of these horses, you know, even if they may not have raced or they might not have trialled, but they've still had the upbringing where they've been on and off floats, they've gone in and out for some early education, they've been broken in. You know, they've had that really basic training, which I think you'd probably see has really developed to be more of an equestrian sort of training right from the outset.
You're absolutely right, and I think what we're seeing more and more, and this is absolutely the case in our stable, you know, we do a lot of work with thoroughbreds, you know, off the track. Like we'll take our horses to one of the equestrian parks in Canberra, we'll put them over the poles, so they get a lot of education off the track even while they're still racing, and you can really see that coming through with the horses and the thoroughbreds that are at Sydney, that they've had that grounding, that they've done work off the track before, and we do that as early as sort of 3 and 4 year olds. So it's not just the same grind day in, day out around doing your work on the track. There's that variety that's happening as well, and I think that gives them such a great grounding to make that transition from racing into other disciplines off the track. If you look at some of our better hack horses over the years, a lot of them are thoroughbreds. So there is a strong history here of thoroughbreds making that transition from on the track to off the track. If you go back through our results and look who's won some of our big hack classes, they are thoroughbreds. And I think for me, most importantly, is they are a very intelligent animal, and they can make the transition. You just got to put the time in, put the education in, and the thoroughbred can become a very competitive show jumper, can become a very competitive equestrian horse. There's just so many options available to a thoroughbred who's had you know, a good racing career, but its time has come for it to make that transition.
It's also encouraging the racing and breeding world to, you know, sponsor these events and get behind them and really encourage people to take on a thoroughbred over another breed. And I see you have, you know, some sponsors that have been there a number of years now, Arrowfield Stud, Widden Stud, Thoroughbred Breeders Australia. I mean, it's really important that anyone who wants to see thoroughbreds, you know, being given these fabulous new lives, you really sort of need to support it beyond the racing and breeding industry.
Absolutely, and that really is what's created the larger numbers, particularly in our lead classes. I mean, enormous numbers in all of our lead classes today, and the sort of prize money that they're winning, that's massive. That absolutely pays for the petrol for a whole team of horses to come to the Easter show, and there's an absolute cracker reason why people would put an off-the-track thoroughbred on the truck along with the rest of their show horses. And what we're finding, they're putting one on the truck and then they want two, and then fingers crossed, sooner or later the full truck's full of off-the-track thoroughbreds.
And so looking ahead, you know, looking at 2023, what are the plans for the RAS as far as, you know, whether it be trying to build Good Friday or just build, you know, more interest and more knowledge of the fact that you have these thoroughbred classes? Good Friday is building, and we're at the stage where we need to extend out the length of time in the program for the thoroughbred classes now that they're growing so big. So that's great. There's the opportunity for us to bring in some jumping classes for off-the-track thoroughbreds. Exactly how we do that
we've got to think about a little bit more, but there's well and truly the opportunity for us to, because so many off-the-track thoroughbreds go into a show jumping career, and we've got a great way of showcasing them here at the Royals. So there's a lot of ways that we can increase what we now call Thoroughbred Day at the RAS, and we just couldn't be more proud of it.
Well done to the Sydney Royal Easter Show, and it's a great recognition of the pure blood of the thoroughbred that's attracting showing competitors back to the breed. Coming up on Thoroughbreds Are Go, another story of the love of a racehorse that extends beyond the racetrack in Arrowfield Studs' Strapper Stories.
Hi all, I'm Rob Wellington. I was a trainer of Duranda Falls going back 12 or 13 years ago. He was a horse that we saw online in New Zealand. He'd had a couple of starts over there, and being a young horse, he looked like he did have some potential. So we brought him over here to Australia to race at our stables in Albury. He was a great horse. We had a lot of fun. All the owners had a lot of fun, and so did I myself, because he was probably the #1 horse in the stable at the time. He had over 100 starts, won 9 or 10 races, and he was just a thrill, just really happy to be around the stable. He was sort of the pet horse. Had a lot of quirks about him, but that was just the way you like a horse, I suppose. It's pretty individual. He raced till he was nearly 11, and we wanted to find a good home, or the owners wanted to find a really good home for him. They were happy just to even pay a gentleman for live his life out on a paddock, but that wasn't Duranda Falls' caper. He really just needed to love the work. Kayla just had a knack with him, and he just settled down, and they had a lot of fun. So with the horse, it was just a win-win situation for everyone. I'm thrilled to say that Duranda's just come back from state championships in Victoria and done very well. So it's been fantastic for everyone concerned, and I hope many people think about getting horses off the track, because it is a great investment for family, kids, and all concerned. I just wish Kyla all the best with the horse, and just keep up doing what you're doing, and it's just a thrill for everyone to see the horses off the track to get a home like this.
That is Thoroughbreds Are Go for this week. Whatever you do, don't miss next week's show with 2 very special stories. One from South Australia with champion jockey Claire Lindop extolling the virtues of thoroughbreds, training a new generation of jockeys. And this one you don't want to miss, as we catch up with the thoroughbreds at work with Riding for Disabled, helping kids and adults alike with a new level of movement high off the ground. Looking forward to those stories. I'm Caroline Searcy. I'll see you again next week on Thoroughbreds Are Go.
This program is brought to you by TAB. Long may we play.